for Clan Britannia.
Hello lads and lassies, here's a wee story to put the outcome of a referendum for Scotland into perspective. Maybe it's time to put party politics into perspective too. Are you ready? It goes like this, okay? Scotland's effect on Britain has expanded Scottishness throughout the globe to become a vital part of the civilised world, with its connection to progress well known everywhere. But Scotland didn't achieve this on its own, for good reason. We did it as an integral part of island unity with Northern Ireland's folk, Wales's folk and England's folk, to share all successes and adversities with these partners together. Right enough, we need not have shared that path with these other good folk, but we did. Along with Dylan Thomas and other British icons of fame, our Rabbie Burns melded what we have cherished, for good or ill. Our humour, our intelligence, our heritage, our culture, all enriching the world as part of Clan Britannia's team of excellence, which Scots are well proud of. As a result, we are no longer locked into our glens and mountain crops, scratching an existence under the direction of elders. No! We are threaded into every fabric of the lives of others across the world. They are all tartanized by us. Indeed, Scottishness is a proud legacy to be shared with everyone, not to be coveted. The 4 million voting residents in Scotland have every reason to be self-assured that they are the drivers of Britain in innumerable ways. How selfish we'd be to refuse our involvement with the lives we now enrich, with everything Scotland represents. Our particular caring ways should not be held exclusively to our Scottish chests, but shared too. So away with concepts of Europe, with us as a separate country, which would put a wedge mentality, if not indeed physically, between us and our closest and dearest neighbours. Away with Highland mentality, with our Claymorish and Dirkish romantic feelings of enmity long since gone, calls to arms, blood spilled on ancient battlegrounds, and childish resentment. Today we stand tall alongside our British colleagues who would die for us as we would for them. Our children and ancestors coexisting contently and happily on all levels, with mixed relations inseparable, each relying on the other, wherever lives or businesses extend throughout Britain and the world, together. No, it is not a move for forward thinking to divorce what we hold dear from all whom we love for the sake of breast-beating party political pride and petty machismo. Let us ask the ones who suggest independence from our loyal neighbours to put themselves in the shoes of the ones we may be asked to separate from, and say what they would construe. Divisions from all which has got us to where we are now, trying to keep many of the benefits of union in the name of supposed Scottish interest, whilst pulling up our rugby posts and taking our oval balls away, saying, "They're ours, not yours." Is that any way to be proud Scots, respectful of our neighbours? It isn't the way we profess to live. We can't have it both ways. On the one hand, calculating to live separately by splitting the union, and the other hand, wanting our cake and eating it. Our clannish ways are deeply theirs now. We gave it to them. Clan Britannia throughout the world, taken globally with the combined commitment and shared capacity of the UK. In many ways, the Union has enabled us to control them, rather than the other way around. But we are not into the realms of controlling each other. The depth of cooperation throughout Britain has elevated our opportunities, not diminished them. In particular, the vast majority of Scotland's 4 million registered voters have no reason to feel confident that their own political elites aren't offering them a poisoned chalice. In a year's time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time, after many more, the generations we leave behind as a result of the opinions of Scotland's current voters must not be consigned to a more complicated future than we are blessed with now. Right enough, the vote could go either way, with either a big or a small majority. But who would be the losers or winners? Because a neutral outcome is not on offer. Would our political elite, self-serving, opinionated in either camp, be the loser? Left to carry the can for the outcome of the referendum, however closely run? No, it would be ordinary Scots, Northern Irish, Welsh and English, friends, neighbours and families who would suffer any losses whilst never seeing any benefits, even if they could exist. As ever, the generals or elite leadership in this referendum for the future on our islands will be well insulated from its fallout and sure to grab any benefits for themselves. We'd get nothing extra. Solidarity with ordinary folk around Britain is not worth breaking on the islands we inhabit, joined by currency, roads, energy grids, efficiency of scale, military strength, world affairs, trade, multimedia, interchangeable opportunities, shared parliamentary cooperation, language, culture, family ties, business connections, long-standing hopes and dreams, just to pander to the inflated egos of elites who would be gone without trace if things were to go wrong, as they might. Long live our clans, Clan Britannia and the tartans we have threaded away from our crofts and glen. Long live the strength of our ties within the Union, with our ordinary fellow Brits. Long may we see through the ambitions of our political elites, who would take the shirts off our backs and tell us it was good for us and our children after us, and think nothing of it. Good men and women of Scotland's 4 million voters, 2.5 million taxpayers, let's not consider ourselves above fair concern for the futures of our bairns or those of our bordering UK inhabitants. 58 million ordinary folk, with whom we have common interests, long held, loyal and deep. By all means, put Scotland on a path for a brighter future, but it need not be with doubt for the welfare of common men and women, but with the confidence that our neighbours share with us. Give support to Clan Britannia and the strength of our unity, and say nay to political elites who would put our future to harder choices and the loss of our place with our neighbours. We must not determine our future to worries over jobs, living standards, rising taxation and isolation from Britain's other community concerns, especially as the worrying doubts over the future of Europe's experimental bureaucratic management is viewed throughout Britain with rightful scepticism. Ask yourself, can we really pin our blind faith on a better deal for Scotland with others, who we would have to bet would treat us fairer or better than our current close British Union partners? Sure, Transitory party political elites may be prepared to risk it, but should we, the ordinary folk, residing in the furthest parts of Scotland and the borders, should we be blindly led away from our current associations on the premise that in Europe, as an independent country, Scotland would get fairer treatment? There is every reason to distrust headstrong European dogmatism. My distrust for party political egoists goes too deep for me to say that they have anything but biased advice to give which should never be relied on. Luckily, the decision has to be taken through the eyes of ordinary Scots, whose hard heads are respected worldwide, and long may they protect their incisive ability to make the right decision. Long may the threads of Scotland's canny thinking be used forever for the benefit of ordinary folk, and not for those who would shine the light of greed into ordinary folks' eyes to mesmerise them, about getting more from a Scotland divorced from the Union of Islanders. For the sake of Old Lang Syne, my dears, for the sake of Old Lang Syne. My friends, think well to be sure that the next generations will thank you.